Steph, why don't you come on up now? And
I'm
let's kick it
here.
off.
I'm here.
All right.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Today, hello. Today is all about the woman. We've been watching her work on Clubhouse for a while. And in honor of Women's History Month and International Women's Day, we want to recognize the beautiful, diverse spectrum of womanhood, including cisgender and trans women and non-binary people, as you are making your very own Her Story here on Clubhouse. This week, we heard so many powerful, brave, and inspiring conversations. We heard questions like, how can men be allies for gender equity in their day-to-day, starting from right within their own households in the Women Matter Club? Natalia Brzezinski prompted us to reconsider the phrase, who does she think she is? Instead, as a celebration of the modern woman. The room was full of talented and powerful women like Mika Brzezinski, Christy Turlington, Ilwad Elman, Jennifer Aker, Coco Dotson, Paige Mykoski, and Olympian figure skater Maya Shibutani. Jessica Yellen did an incredible job navigating us through the challenges of content moderation, interviewing her friend, Noah Feldman, about Facebook's Supreme Court in the Summit Radio Hour. Cassandra Bankson reminded the little girl inside of all of us that what you look like has no impact on what you can do for this world. And I actually feel like we've heard this thread consistently, where we're not constrained by hair, makeup, or appearance here on Clubhouse, only how far you can project your voice. In partnership with the UN, the We the Future Club, along with Swan Sit, Tanil Amor, Kunal Sood, Alyssa Jacobs, and many, many more, dedicated an entire day of programming on International Women's Day, where Shion Horn sought answers to what are we actually doing as allies and advocates. Mazda reminded us that we are perfect exactly as we are, exactly where we are, in the Circle Club. I love the name of her room, which is No More Mean Girls, the Power of Sisterhood. We had Leah Lamar, Fiza Dasani, Zara, and Zara Ali were all hot on the mic, as they say. But they were trying, quote unquote, not to take up space. But in case any of you guys haven't noticed, it is the comedians who are currently ruling Clubhouse. Artist and political activist Nadia Tolokonnikova of Pussy Riot joined yesterday to discuss the drop of their first NFT. All proceeds of which go to supporting victims of domestic violence in Russia. And finally, Aja Monet continued to remind us that listening is a form of speaking. Aja hosts the Bedtime Story Room, which is an improv collective story circle. And on that note, I would actually like to bring Aja up because, drum roll everybody, Aja will be our next Clubhouse icon in the release this week. Woo! Many of you guys may know Aja as Sarabi from The Lion King, but Aja has actually been in the house since September and has been a grounding voice since her arrival. Aja is a surrealist blues poet. Yes, that's right. Storyteller and organizer. And I wanted to bring her up, because we always need her energy in our lives. But I would love her to talk a bit about a new project that she started this past year and how she plans to bring it to life on Clubhouse. So Aja, welcome our soon to be, I should say, Axel, we're not moving you off yet, don't worry, but our soon to be Clubhouse icon.
Hey, thank you, Steph. Hi, Paul. Hi, Rohan. Hi, Anu.
Hey.
This is a great opportunity to just share that I want to first thank Fadia, who first invited me to this app, and the ways that she's been encouraging and supportive of using the app in really interesting ways. And so I guess I'll just share, I am the artistic creative director. In addition to being a poet and an organizer, I was brought on for a new role this past June by an organization called V-Day. For those of you who don't know, V-Day was formed after the play Vagina Monologues by V, formerly Eve Ensler. And the play touched and spoke to so many women across the world that after meeting and listening to these women impacted by the play and also their own stories of assault and survival, she knew that the play alone could not contain the gravity of need for organizing around gender violence. And so V-Day was formed. And every year on February 14th, women all across the globe perform the vagina monologues to help raise awareness and funds to serve and resource survivors. That's where I come into this work. V reached out to me last June and asked if I would join V-Day team and create an entirely new piece that would be performed and shared with women on this day, a play that would be created to organize women and those in solidarity all over the world. And as a poet and organizer, I've created and facilitated the legacy of greats like June Jordan or Miri Baraka or Gwendolyn Brooks, who used poetry and workshops as a liberatory space for imagination and community. So that's where Voices came to be. And I said, we should call this play Voices. It made sense. So how could we create a piece for V-Day grounded in Black women's stories and voices to help end violence against women from the African continent diaspora that could be gender expansive and also speak to the creative portal most abused and silenced in all survivors as marginalized people? Our voices are crucial, but this project would require more than us just speaking our truths. We also need those who can engage actively with what is being shared. So the big focus of this project is how can we help organize around listening? We started a listening tour and tried collecting submissions by Black women all across the globe, which was ended on February 14th. And currently I'm in the process of creating the play. And our goal is to have the play shared in a very innovative and interesting way. So seeing as this platform is all about voice and the power of voice, but also listening, we want to think about ways that we can be innovative and inspiring and also organize more folks to help us end violence against women and girls across the globe. And there's a club, V is for Voices. You can find that on my page, as well as the Club for Bedtime Story, which is Freedom Dreams, inspired by Robin D.G. Kelly, who's an incredible writer and scholar.
Thank you so much, Aja. We're super, super excited to have you. And this photo may be a sneak peek, but we'll see. But we're super excited to have you. And thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Aja. Oh, man. So much to talk about. Thank you, Steph. A wonderful, wonderful week and really, really inspiring and a very good recap. Thank you so much. All right. Next up, we have a few announcements, which we're pretty excited about. Anu, would you mind bringing up Maya if you can find her? There's a search feature.
I feel like Maya needs intro music. What is Maya's intro song?
So I wanted to introduce you to Maya Watson, who is joining our team to lead marketing. Woo! Maya! Woo!
Oh my God. Maya, what's your intro song?
Listen, what would be my intro song? It would have to be something either from like Beyonce or Lizzo, probably. I'm so excited. I'm so happy that, we can talk about this because it's something, that's been happening behind the scenes for a little while. I am so grateful to be a part of this Clubhouse team. And really to be a part of the Clubhouse community. I also was invited by Fadia, which seems to be a really big theme.
Like half the app.
And so I'm so grateful for her. And I just remember when I started using the app, it just feels really special. It's one of those things that it just feels like a new experience. I love the intimacy. I've had so many interesting conversations and listening to incredible people and have made amazing connections in my own life as a result of Clubhouse. And so when Paul and Rohan called and said, hey, do you want to come hang out and see if we can change the world, that is what I'm all about. So, I mean, for everybody in the room, I'm coming from Netflix, where I was for the last 4 years. Before that, I've had the privilege of working for just some great people like Oprah and the Obamas. But ultimately in my heart, I feel like I'm a marketer and a person who just thrives on community and serving audiences. And so I am so privileged and so honored to be here and to just help take this rocket ship to the moon. I think it's going to be so much fun.
Woo!
So much fun.
Woo! Welcome, Maya. So Maya's been like one of the coolest things I think is that Maya has been on Clubhouse for like over 6 months, I think, or around
Yeah.
6 months. And we met, like Rohan and I, when we started the company almost a year ago. We met Anu even before Clubhouse. We met her when we were working on Talk Show, which was the previous incarnation of Clubhouse. And then we met Steph through Clubhouse in the early days of Clubhouse, and we met Maya through here as well. So I like love the idea of having people from the user community join the team full time. So wanted to introduce Maya because she's going to be involved in a lot of the work that we do to support creators and be pretty active here with the work that we're doing to, just help support what everyone in the community is doing. So
Yes.
Maya, thank you so much for coming up and saying
Thank
hello,
you.
allowing us to put you on the spot. And
I know.
So excited to
I'm
get going.
excited. I'm excited to work with everybody, and you'll just see me on the app hopping around. So, follow, send me a DM. I'm excited to meet everybody.
All right.
Okay.
My first day was yesterday on a Saturday.
Let's go.
Awesome. Thanks, Maya.
Okay.
All right. Next thing related to that, which I was just talking about, is Clubhouse turns 1 on Wednesday. We forget what day we started it, but Rohan and I, if you look at our user profiles, we both joined on March 17th, 2020. So that must have been the first day that the very first version of Clubhouse went live. It was at the time, I mentioned this before probably, but the whole app was a single room. It was just the two of us. There was no follow graph. Like everyone followed everyone. There was no concept of a stage. Like everyone was a speaker always. And you would open the app and it would tell everyone else on the app that you were there. And man, we just never could have imagined that it would have turned into what it is today. Obviously, there's still so much to do, and hopefully we're still very early in the life of the company, but thousands of clubs and millions of people all around the world. I think we're just so grateful that we've been able to spend our time working on this stuff. And I know we say this a lot, but what we just love social products. Like we hate that we love them because they're crazy and unpredictable. We just love working on them. And the idea that audio has this potential to create a more human place, right? That's not about how many likes you're getting, or it's not about posturing or dunking on people or having your social media manager post something for you. It's just about authentically connecting with other people, and that we could be able to open our phone and just talk with friends and talk with new people, and that people anywhere in the world, like regardless of what small town you live in, regardless of what networks you have access to or what your financial situation is, you can be in the room and you can open the app and have instant access to genuine human connections and real conversation. That's what we were hoping we could build. But you never expect that what you build will work or strike a chord with people, and you learn so much along the way. And there's so many things that we still want to build and still want to improve, but to even be in a room with all of you today and to be able to talk about stuff like this and to have amazing people like Anu and Steph and Maya and everyone else who's joined the team to get to work with them every day. We're just so grateful. I can't even express it. So we turned 1 on Wednesday, and we'll probably have a birthday party, probably try and throw some fun events this week. But just wanted to say thank you to everyone for helping us do this and for being part of this with us. So that's it for our birthday. Anything else you want to say about that, Rohan? Not to put you on the spot.
No, you said everything I wanted to say. So I'm just grateful to be on this journey. It's been really, really fun, and it's going to be even more fun.
Awesome. Okay, next thing, we have another announcement. 2 more announcements. Okay, the next announcement is we're doing an accelerator program for creators. We talked about this a while back, how we wanted to do some sort of creator grant program to help people build out their shows. And we were trying to think about what that would look like. And obviously, I hope it's obvious from the way we talk about it. Creators are the lifeblood of Clubhouse. We always say creator first. When we say creator, we mean creator with a lowercase c. anyone can be a creator. It just means you start a room. It just means you're the one who made the effort to press the green button, to host a conversation, to bring people together. And you're really doing a service to the community when you start those rooms. And audio is like a new medium. It's totally different from posting text, from posting photos. It's hard to, it can be hard to bring people together, right? A lot of work goes into making a show successful. You look at some of the experiences that people are creating each day, and you can tell how much energy they're putting into it. And we're all kind of learning together how to make these things work. And there's so many smart and funny, talented people in the world who are great at this thing. But a lot of people might not have an iPhone. They might not have advanced equipment. It's not always trivial to promote a show, to line up guests, to get feedback on it. Maybe you need a babysitter, so you can spend a couple hours preparing for your show. And whatever you need, we want to help support you. We want to help support current creators, future creators, and so ultimately, we want to build out ways to do this for everyone on the app at scale, to help you learn best practices, to promote, to find guests, to do all this sort of stuff. But while we work on productizing that, we wanted to launch a small accelerator program to do it in a more hands-on way for the next class of creators. And we're calling it Creator First. It's your first time as a creator. It's something that we always talk about. So and really what it is, it's a program anyone can apply for starting today. You go to creatorfirst.joinclubhouse.com. And, initially we're going to learn. It's like all things on Clubhouse. We'll try it out. We'll see what we learn. We'll double down on the things that resonate with you, that you think are really helpful. And we'll shift our approach based on, what we find. Initially, we'll probably want to support about 20 new shows. And our hope is to scale that over time based on what we learn. So here's what we're thinking. And all this is subject to change based on what we learn. But here's what we're thinking. It'll start out as a 3-month program. And our goals are really threefold. One is to help you make your shows amazing, to help you learn how to promote them, and to help you get paid as a creator. So what goes into helping you make your shows amazing? Well, we want to make sure that you have the equipment that you need. So if you don't have a new iPhone, we'll send you a new iPhone. And we're working really hard to get our Android app out. But in the meantime, if you're an Android user, we'll send you an iPhone so you can get started with Clubhouse in the meantime. If you want an iRig, you shouldn't have to have all this stuff. We've designed Clubhouse to allow you to just use the native tools that we have built into the app. But if you want an iRig, then we'll send you one. If you need AirPod Pros, we'll send you those. We'll work with you on concept development. So you probably have an idea, like we ask you in the application to tell us what your idea is and how you're thinking about it. But we'll probably have opinions on oh, have you thought about this? Or we've noticed that when people do this, it tends to work better. So we'll do sort of deep dive concept development with you. And then we'll work on matching you with guests for your shows, for your events. So those are really the pieces that we're thinking about that go into helping you make your shows amazing. The next thing is helping you learn how to promote them. So a lot of people have done some incredible stuff. Like you look at the flyers that Drew puts together or the Good Time Show puts together. They're pretty amazing. So what we want to do is figure out how to connect you with people who can provide design services for creative assets if you want to promote any events that you're having. We want to help with promotion within Clubhouse, promotion outside of Clubhouse. If you need help with invites to get an existing audience on, we want to help you with that. So that's sort of the second pillar, helping you learn how to promote your show. And then the third thing is helping you get paid as a creator. So what we want to do is match you with brand sponsors. We have all of these brands coming to us asking how they can help, how they can host conversations and find people who can help them host those conversations. So we want to match you with brand sponsors. If we can't find the right brand sponsors for you, then we'll just guarantee some basic income. So we'll guarantee monthly income of $5,000 a month for the 3-month program. We want to have some other fun things. I don't know, first edition Clubhouse T-shirt. I'm not really sure, but those are really the 3 elements. It's called Creator First. You go to creatorfirst.joinclubhouse.com to apply. We're accepting applications starting now for the next few weeks. So the deadline is March 31st to apply for this first class. We're going to aim for about 20 different shows. And so if you're applying with someone else, then you can apply as a show. And you can tell us who your co-hosts are and how you're thinking about it. And really, that's what we want to do. We want to give you all the equipment that you need and concept development and guest matching to make your shows amazing. We want to give you design services and help with promotion inside and outside of Clubhouse. And we want to help you get paid as a creator, because that's really, really important to what we want to do. We don't want to build an ad-based business. We want to build a business where we're only growing as a company if you are all growing as creators. And over time, we want to have more infrastructure in place to help everyone get paid directly by happy listeners who are excited to support you for the experiences you're bringing to them, but also match you with brands who might want to pay you to help them host great conversations that might be related to what they offer. And we will backstop that with a guaranteed monthly income of $5,000 a month. So that's it. creatorfirst.joinclubhouse.com. We're really, really excited to just learn and evolve. This is hopefully the first of many different things that we're going to be doing. So thank you. Thank you everyone for input on that stuff. Thank you to the members of the Creator Pilot Program who have given, who have really helped us think through what we can provide to them and to all of you as creators to help make you successful. Like, a lot of the insights that we're getting have come from the early work that we've been doing and the feedback that we've been getting from the community. So yeah, this is hopefully one of many things we'll be doing. All right, next thing we want to talk through is we're doing a world tour on Clubhouse. So people have been joining from all over the world. Like, we've seen huge groups of people joining from Japan and Brazil and Germany and Italy and Nigeria and Russia and Hong Kong and all of these different countries. We're so excited about this. Honestly, we never imagined that it would go international this quickly, and we're just absolutely thrilled. I love seeing people, meeting people across cultures, meeting people from all over the world. We want to make sure that people in all of these different regions feel welcome and that we understand their needs and we understand how their part of the world and their experience on Clubhouse might be different from the experience that we have in the US. And so we decided to do a world tour. We're going to start with Italy tomorrow morning. We're doing like an Italian town hall where I'm going to do my best to speak a little bit of Italian and to call up members of the community. And really, those are our goals. So, like, understand what the experience is like, and to make sure we can build a product that works for you regardless of where you live, in a way that feels native to you, that we can help provide the right tools and support for the best creators in your region. So I'm really, really, really excited about that. And this, we'll see how tomorrow goes. We'll evolve the format based on that, and hopefully we'll have a chance to visit all the different regions, all the different language groups, and groups of people within Clubhouse. So really excited about that. That's the Clubhouse World Tour. All right. I don't think we have any more announcements. That's it for today. But we'll get into product stuff and then Q&A. All right, so product stuff. We shipped a release last week. I mentioned this last week, but like the past six weeks or so have been pretty crazy. We've been so grateful that we've been growing a bunch all over the world. So we sort of had to go all hands on deck to focus on scaling so that the app could stay up, to focus on building out the team. We have a ton of new people who are going to be joining the team, which is wonderful. And we're really excited to get back to shipping client features at a faster clip, hopefully. So last week, we shipped a release that had a few things. The first thing was the ability to share a link to your profile. So if you go to your Clubhouse profile now, there's a little button where you can grab a link and you can share that out. If you go to your club, you can grab a link to your club and you can share a link to your club. So if you ever want to tell people, if you have a group that you're a part of, a group texting thread, another network where you want to post stuff, you can tell people to follow you on Clubhouse. You can tell them to follow your club or learn more about it. So that was in the last release. Language filtering. I mentioned, like, we're growing a lot internationally. That's fantastic. We're so excited about that. But you've probably noticed that there might be rooms popping up in your feed that are languages that you don't speak. That's not very good. So now we built out a system that will try and learn what language rooms you tend to join, and we'll try and show you more of those rooms, and we'll try to not show you rooms that are in languages that you don't speak or don't want to see. And I've been prototyping it. So I've been testing the beta version of it, and it's been really, really helpful for me. So hopefully you find that useful too. The next thing we shipped in the last release was the ability to have nominations show up from your club instead of from a specific user. So if you start a club, you'll get a certain allocation of invites that you can use to bring people from off Clubhouse into your club. And previously, when you would do that, it would have your name as the person who nominated them on your profile. And that's great in most situations. Like the nomination badge has been a really good thing in a lot of ways on Clubhouse. But if you want to bring a large group of people in to join your club, like say you have a community of people in a group somewhere else that's all really passionate about some topic and you want to bring them in, but you don't personally know each of them too well, and you don't really feel comfortable personally vouching for them, now you can feel more comfortable doing that, and it'll show that they came in as part of your club rather than through a personal nomination from you. And the other thing that's nice about this is that their profile, when anyone on Clubhouse views their profile, they'll discover your club. And so it'll help your club grow within Clubhouse too. So nomination badges from clubs rather than just people. We also added the ability to invite someone via phone number or by selecting an individual contact if the person wasn't in your contacts or you just would prefer to invite them that way. And then we added a bunch of trust and safety improvements. And a lot of that, the trust and safety stuff, was around internal tooling, abuse detection, things like that. A couple of the user-facing things, we renamed the report for trolling button to report for disrupting the stage, because trolling is a little bit of a vague term, and we want to make sure that people are reporting those things properly, because we have a zero tolerance policy for trolling, and if you're found to have actually disrupted a stage intentionally, then you are forever removed from Clubhouse. We just wanted that to be clear. Added the ability to deactivate your account directly from the app if you ever need to do that, and a bunch of other stuff just internally under the hood. So hopefully some of those features have been helpful. I had the pleasure of joining a room after that release went out, filled with a bunch of amazing members of the user community who are giving feedback on that. And I think some of these things are going to be useful. And we learned a lot about sort of what else is on people's minds. So the next week's release is we're getting back into shipping. We're going to be focused on creators. We're going to be focused on some improvements to clubs. We're still figuring out all the details for that, but hopefully we'll have something out sort of mid to end of week this week. All right, with that, we have half hour left to do questions.
I'm going to skip our usual reminder to submit additional questions because I feel like we're going to have a tough time getting through the ones we have already.
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay.
Let's do it.
All right, let's run through some product and feature related questions. So a bunch, as always, as we've been getting around discovery. The first one is around recurring events. When will we have the ability to schedule a series of talks at once? A little more color we get. Scheduling a one-off event makes it tough because I feel like I need all the details planned before posting the event, though I might plan to do the show every week at the same time without having all the guests lined up yet. I want people to expect my show at a regular interval, and it'll be much easier to add to the calendar when there are repeating conversations.
Yeah, so we don't have that yet. I'll just talk about it quickly because I know we have a bunch of questions.
Yep.
I imagine we will add that in the future. The reason we didn't have it initially is because we didn't want someone to say, cool, I'm doing a daily show, and then they end up stop doing it, and then it's just sort of a dead show in the calendar forever for everyone. And what we find is that the people who are really like planning these things and are most motivated, they'll go and they'll it's sort of a filter for knowing that this is a real show that's going to happen by a motivated host. But we do want to have better ways to do that. It's not on our list for the next couple of weeks, and we tend to plan out our roadmap like a couple weeks in advance. But we will have that eventually, and hopefully the stuff that we're shipping before then will be even more useful. Is there anything else you would say about that one, Anu?
I think we just had some new energy around it after releasing in-app club creation, because I know at the end of a club flow, it asks you to schedule one conversation, and I think folks who have already been hosting a lot regularly are just really motivated to get them on the calendar and start lining up their guests for those conversations. So I think we're just seeing more energy around it.
The other thing I would say is, like, I totally get it. Certainly we should have the ability to like clone an event so that it we actually used to have that, and then it ended up getting removed for reasons I can't quite remember. But we should definitely have that. And the other thing I've seen the other thing I'd say is like having it at the same time, every day or every week is really, really useful. Like when people move it around, people just don't know when to expect it, and so they miss it all the time. So I think having it be at the same time every day is very, very helpful. What a lot of people do is they'll put at the top of their club description, like daily at 8 a.m. Pacific or something like that. And that allows people to get in the habit of doing it. And when people add to their Apple Calendar or Google Calendar, they can make it a recurring event. Yep, that's sort of where we are on that one. Hopefully we can have it in the app in the not too distant future. And totally get it. I understand the need for it. And I'm sorry we don't have it yet.
Okay, a couple of quick questions around the event calendar.
Yes.
I think we have had these requests before, so I think we feel similarly. Can we please have a way to zoom out of the calendar or jump to a specific date? And part 2, we really need to be able to see events listed on user profiles and club profiles.
Yes, I 100% agree, and we're going to build that. So, and probably in the next couple of weeks. I don't mean to speak too out of turn, but like it's very top of mind for us. Like a lot of stuff we're going to be doing over the next few weeks is really geared towards that, like helping people discover your clubs, helping you make it successful, because there's so much excitement and energy around that, and there's a lot more that we can do there. So yes, we're going to add that. Like in the calendar, 100%. I was going through that yesterday, and I was looking through the shows that are happening today. And there are all these amazing conversations that I didn't even know about. Like, what was one of them? Tony Hawk is doing a show about the time he met Tupac this evening, and I'm like, what? How did I not know about this? So yeah, the calendar is it's another area that we are very excited to improve over the next month or so.
Okay. A good question about club limits. Isn't 2 rooms a month a little excessive? I think 2 rooms equals 2 clubs. How can people build real authentic community with so many clubs? And I think this is speaking to, our recent in-app club feature where we kind of rate limit the number you can create at once.
Right. So it sounds like what they're saying is, should you only allow people to create one club ever, or like a smaller number, so that they can be I guess what I would say is I think that from a product perspective, here's how I think about it. Like there are going to be there are already like probably tens of thousands of clubs, right? And some of them are amazing and robust and super active, and some of them are not. And so we have to have a product that is durable to that. We have to build it, like in the app, we have to make it so that the best active clubs are surfaced and the inactive clubs are not. Like there's no way around that. And so I actually philosophically think that like more clubs is better, and it's our job to do the filtering. And the reason we limit it at all is because we don't know what we don't know. If if anyone wanted to like push the limits or spam or try and like name squat or do things like that, we wanted to prevent that. So it's really like abuse prevention. But I think like that's really how we view it. So our job to do filtering, and if that's not happening yet, then we need to improve that.
Okay, about club searches. I think the club search feature could be improved still. I'm not able to find my club when I search it, and I can't tell the ones that I am being recommended.
Right. Hey, Rohan, so the first part of this is like improving the club search feature, and this person saying, I'm not able to find my club when I search it. Do you have any thoughts on like how club search works and where the issues are today?
The good news is, the bad news is the search feature is really, really rudimentary right now, and we haven't done a very good job of it. And so even when you search for users, you don't always see the folks that you're following first, and that's a little annoying. And it's the same for clubs. We don't surface your own clubs first. And so on the good news part, we have a new team member, Michelle, who's actually working on exactly solving this problem. And so hopefully over the next week or so, some of these things will improve.
Woo! Michelle, that's fantastic. Okay, so great answer. Sorry to struggle by breakfast. And the second question is, I can't find the best clubs once I can't tell if the best clubs are the ones that are being recommended. That is another part of that search. So like 100%. And the way that we should do it, we should take into account, relevance of the name, but we should also take into account how active is the club? How often do they host shows? Do people like it when they host rooms? Do people that you follow tend to follow this? There's a whole bunch of data there, and it's just going to get better and better and better over time. So I apologize if it's pretty basic right now, but Michelle is working on it, and it's going to get better.
Okay, question around club formats. I've noticed people are using clubs for many different reasons, but all of them have the same features, or I suppose they're all, I guess, using the same feature, and there's no way to tell what type of format the club is for potential members. Would you consider having tags for the type of clubs, like you've talked about for rooms, and for, I guess, people to say they're interested in?
Oh, interesting. So I wonder if this is a participatory community, okay, so there are a couple things where it's like the three different versions that we often talk about. One is an event series where there are just a couple people who are hosting it, and like everyone else is really like a listener. The second one is a community where you're all kind of equals. Anyone can start a room. There's not a single host. It's just a community of people that are all passionate about something that come together. And the third is like a private club for your organization. So the way that you would know whether it's A, B, or C, well, I guess the first one, you'd be able to follow it. So I guess the short answer is yes. And I'm like thinking through all the product details in my head as we're talking right now. I think there are different ways to solve for it, but I think the options that are available can do some of the heavy lifting there. Like if it's a private organization, you just won't see it. If it's like a private membership club, but it's more of a community, you won't be able to follow it. Like it's just sort of, you'll have to be invited to be a member. So like some of the options that the club founders toggle can affect your ability to understand what type of club it is. Other people use the description or they use the club rules to explain the nature of it if you really want to dive into the details. With regards to like what the format is this like a news show? Is it a variety show? Is it a musical show? Is it something else? I haven't thought about that, having category tags like that. But that's actually super interesting. If you think about like how you browse on other services, it's like by genre, it's by mood, it's by format. So as we get more and more clubs here, allowing people to say like, okay, I want to just like tune into the news, or I want to hear stand-up comedy, or something else like that I can imagine format being a very useful complement to topic. So
Yep.
yeah, totally. Or like church services or something like that. I haven't thought about that. I think that's a great idea. And again, like we're going to be spending a bunch of time on club stuff over the next 2, 3, 4 weeks. And so I'm adding that to our list to think through. Thank you for the suggestion.
Okay, around foreign languages, which I know we're about to do a world tour. Someone says, I want to create content not just for English speakers, but also for other audiences. Would there be a way for other listeners in the app worldwide to follow my content and perhaps get it translated or match me with the translator in that language?
Ooh.
I guess we're about to test it out.
Yeah. So I noticed that there is, this happens organically, right? Like I noticed that there's a French town hall recap happening after this, which is like fantastic and wonderful. And I haven't thought about making this a service for everyone else, but I think that's really, really cool. So what we thought about is we've thought about other types of matching. Like I mentioned, like like brands with hosts and guests and all of that. I think that's super important. But I haven't thought about the translation stuff. I think that's really cool. And so maybe nothing planned immediately. I'm trying to think through how that would work. Would people just want to do it because they're passionate about the content? Would it be like you would pay someone to translate it for you? Would it be real time in like an overflow room where the audio is piped? Would it be through text? Would it be something else? So a bunch of details to figure out there. And if you're the person who submitted this question, if you have a vision in mind for what this would look like, please send a follow-up to the email you sent us and let us know, so we can kind of think through it. But I just, like, I was in a room yesterday. Leah Lamar was doing this really cool stand-up comedy room, and there are all of these comics from all over the world who are meeting each other and like sharing jokes and getting to know each other, and it's just so cool. It's so cool. Or like news. They're Andrew Lee's show. There are all of these journalists from all over the world talking about the news that's happening in their country, and I just love that. I love that. Like it made me think yesterday how rare it is that we get to meet people from other countries in our day-to-day lives.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know. I'm just super excited about that use case, and I really love that question, and would love to hear more details about what this person had in mind.
Yeah, it's really cool. Even though we haven't done the formal matching, it's all a group format. It's just degrees of separation. We've seen so many different languages and cultures come together.
Exactly, and I think the topic stuff helps with that too,
Mm-hmm.
because you don't just have the friend graph.
Mm-hmm.
You can kind of expand beyond there.
All right, a few quick questions around in-room features.
Yes.
So first, around stage management. When can we expect to see a new round of moderator/speaker tools? They reference some things we've discussed before, such as the ability to see who is speaking how long, a speaker hand raise queue, upgrades to the hand raise queue in terms of vetting folks to bring up, ability to share a link with people inside the room. So I think a whole host of potential things.
Yeah. So I'm just going through this list right now. Those are all really good ones. So like when we think about our product priorities, we often talk about 4 things. We talk about like welcoming more people through things like localization and getting on Android as quickly as we can, and even monetization tools for creators, which gives creators a reason to come on the platform and bring people with them. I think the best thing that we can do for everyone on the app is to welcome more amazing people to the app. And the second one is just keeping the wheels on as we grow through things like support, like scaling support, scaling trust and safety, and scaling infrastructure, so you're not getting error messages. The third thing is discovery, like helping you find the right rooms. And the fourth is the in-room experience. They're all really, really important. I think the thing that is that needs most work right now, frankly, is discovery. And hopefully, like the language improvements that you've seen roll out are good. Those will prove to be a good start. But there's so much more that we can do to help people find your rooms, and to help you and to help ensure that every time you open the app, you're just seeing the most amazing 5 rooms on the network for you at the top of your feed. So those are the things that we are prioritizing over the next couple weeks. It's really like creator tools, improvements to clubs, and improvements for discovery. But the room management stuff it's also very top of mind. We have a lot more engineers who are joining our team over the next couple of weeks. We have we're working to hire a couple more designers so we can parallel process a lot of this stuff. So I know none of this stuff ever comes soon enough, but that's sort of how we're thinking about prioritizing right now. So hopefully sometime in April we can get some of those things shipped. But for the next couple weeks, that's not the number one thing that we're prioritizing. So it'll probably come shortly after that.
Okay, I'm going to do a little bit rapid fire.
Okay.
On show metrics, I've heard
Yes.
of some folks getting analytics for their rooms. How could I sign up for this?
Oh yeah, so we want to roll those out for everyone. We don't have an automated system for doing it just yet, but what we've been experimenting with this small creator pilot program that we've run is just manually sending people some metrics on their rooms, like, total number of listeners, peak number of listeners, retention rates, things like that, to try and understand, is this useful? How can we help every creator grow these over time? And so we don't have that's sort of, if you've heard of people getting analytics, it's like a small group of a few dozen people that we've been learning together with. And so we've been doing it manually. We want to automate it. And that's something that we are thinking about, but we don't have it on the roadmap for the next couple of weeks. But really, that's the type of thing that should be scaled out, and like everyone should have access to that, because our job is to help you have all the resources and tools that you need to get better and better and better at what you're doing. So step one is just like drive more people to your room and help you as a consumer discover the best rooms for you. And then, after that, it's help you understand how you're doing. But I think for now, it's not as much of a burning need for people, because they can see the number of concurrent listeners, and that kind of gives them like a sense for how it's going qualitatively, or, somewhat quantitatively. But yep, loud and clear, it's definitely something that we want to do in the not too distant future.
Would you consider adding follow suggestions inside the room for people or for clubs that we might interact with?
I think the room is a follow suggestion. So
Ooh, that feels like a mic drop.
Well, no, it's part of why we designed it this way. Like the group structure is there, it creates all of these natural edges for discovery, right? Like if I follow, if I follow Sarah, and I or I follow Rajiv, like I might not know all the other people in the room where they're speaking, but if if Rajiv is speaking and I get a notification, I jump in there, maybe I know him, but I don't know the other 10 speakers on stage. And I'm like, oh, wow, that was a great question. Who's she? And I'll tap, I'll tap on Alberica and I'll follow her. Or I'll say, oh, that was really interesting. And I'll go and I'll follow Chris. And you're constantly discovering new people at the edges of your graph, right? So those are follow suggestions. And part of the reason we have the followed by the speakers section at the top of the room is to serve as follow suggestions. It's like, if you're interested in listening to the speakers, which presumably you are because you're in the room, you might also enjoy following these other people who they follow. And so clubs, yeah, that's super interesting. I think like having them be more prominent in the profile will help with that. It's really just a matter of like, what's the simplest, most elegant way to present you with those suggestions, and the room structure itself and the bifurcation of the audience is sort of where we start there.
Yeah, I think that the small additional, ask they're saying, is to just have one less step to get to the follow for the person and club, it sounds like. But I think you're totally right on the room as a container being.
You mean not having to tap on their profile, you mean?
Yeah, I could only see that as the major difference here versus what you're suggesting.
Yeah, I think that you always have to think about like informing the tap, and what is the amount of information that you can give someone to help them decide whether they should take that action. And I think typically, like a lot of times, you want to give them as much information as possible to help them make the right decision, like 80% of the time, and then give them a way to go get more information if it's if they need more. So like, let me think of examples. I don't know, like if you look at how Tinder was designed, like a lot of people would make their initial decision on which way they wanted to swipe based on photo and age and mutual friends and mutual interests and some of the baseline information. And if you wanted to dig deeper, you'd tap in and you'd view their full profile, and that allows you to go through quickly. I've never used it because Amanda and I met in high school, but like if you just think about it from a product perspective, like it allows you to quickly process things, but then quickly go deeper if you ever need to go deeper with an extra tap. And I think that if you allowed people to follow people from within a room, you probably get bad behavior. Like, because really you shouldn't follow someone just because you see their name and photo in the audience. And you have a lot of free time while you're listening, right? So you can tap through and discover. So I don't know. I could geek out on this for a while, but that's sort of how we think about it at a high level.
Yeah, I love these discussions.
No, sorry.
No, I'm
There's so
actually,
many more questions
this
than
time I'm
that.
actually not being sarcastic. I do. Okay. Amplifying rooms. Is there a way that I can signal that a room is really good to my followers without jumping up on stage and sending out notifications that I am actually a speaker?
You can ping them into the room one at a time. So if you tap the little plus button at the lower right, you can ping people and be like, hey, you should join this room. That's really designed for pinging a specific person in because you think this room is relevant to them. There is not a way to tap a single button and amplify it, but I would like to solve for this problem because I think when people come up on stage to alert their followers, it's a reasonable hack. It's fine, but it can be annoying. Like if if you've ever followed someone who does this and jumps on stage like on off on off on off all the time, it can be a pretty bad experience, and you're probably just going to want to unfollow that person. And also, like, you don't want to. It's not a good experience right now. It's a reasonable hack, but it's not a good experience. And I think it's a great question, and I'd love to solve for that.
Okay. When can we expect to see monetization features in the app?
Pretty soon. they are not being piloted with anyone yet. We're not there, but we are working on them. Yeah, and we're like, this is a very big. This is very important to us. Like, it's really, really important to us that we are creator centric, and that we are building a business that is whose foundation is allowing all of the amazing people here to make money directly. So we've been talking about that for a while. Like, we don't want your data. We don't want to show interrupted mid-roll ads. We don't want to follow you around the internet. We want to build a different type of network. And so this is really, really important to us.
Okay, I'm going to crank through about 5 more.
Okay, 5 more. 4 minutes.
Okay,
Maybe
a little bit more than 5 more, but let's try. Okay. On club deletions, I guess because we've seen a lot of people creating them, how do we delete clubs we no longer want or might have created duplicates for? Will there be an option in the app?
So there will be an option in the app. There isn't yet because there's just some. Here's why there isn't yet. One is, like, we're going to have to deal with stale clubs anyway. Like, we Clubhouse will need to figure out ways to deprioritize those and not flood your views with stale clubs. So, like, we have to solve for it anyway. The second thing is, if you're going to delete a club, we need to think about, like, okay, so what happens to the members? Do they need to get notified that this club they thought they were a part of is no longer there? What happens if you accidentally delete it and then you want to bring it back, but then the data's all gone? What happens if someone has a calendar event on their Google Calendar and they come there and the club no longer exists? So there are just things like that we need to figure out. And so that's why we haven't prioritized it. But we'll get to that in the future. In the meantime, hopefully you just don't see stale clubs in your feed.
Okay. What happens when I deactivate my account? How long do I have to reactivate it?
Yeah, so the way it works is if you deactivate it, it tells us you want your account deleted, and you have 30 days to reactivate it if you want to reactivate it. So basically, as soon as you deactivate it, you will no longer appear on the app to anyone else. Your account will be flagged for deletion, and you won't be visible in the app. If you change your mind and want to reactivate it within 30 days, you can log back in and it can reactivate it. And otherwise, it will be permanently deleted and all your data will be deleted at the end of 30 days.
All right. Regarding phone contacts, which I think you already mentioned earlier, I saw that I can now invite someone directly without giving access to my contacts. What happens if I already gave access before?
Yeah, so we just shipped a feature that lets you type in the phone number of someone directly if you want to invite them that way. And if you previously synced your phone your phone book and you want to disallow contacts, you can do that from like the iOS settings. And you can reach out to us to delete any previously authorized contacts from your account after you do that. And we can take care of that for you. And we will build that into the app in the future. We're just trying to ship this stuff out like one piece at a time so we can get it out as fast as possible to you.
Okay.
And the other thing I would say is like the only reason that we optionally let you auth your contacts is because it allows you to see which of your friends are on Clubhouse. And when a new friend joins Clubhouse, it allows us to tell you about that, and you know, so that you can choose to follow them if you want. You can go to your welcome room if you want. And our privacy policy spells this all out in a ton of detail. So it's totally optional. It does make the experience a lot better for you, I think. And it's not used for anything else. But if you don't want to, that's totally fine. And so check out the privacy policy. It has more details on all that stuff.
All right. Should we just do one more question, perhaps?
Yeah, sure. Let's do that.
Okay. It's a referencing.
Are you saying we're going to end on time?
Well, no, we won't, because the answer to the question will be longer.
Because I'm going to ramble.
But the questions will have been asked on time.
All right.
Okay, this is referencing what we announced earlier, so I felt like it was a good question to make sure we get in. What types of creators and conversations are you interested in seeing apply to the Creator First program?
Oh, man. Come on. What kind of question is that? I'm going to talk for a half hour. So many. Okay. So, all right. First thing I would say is I am very excited about formats and shows that I had never even considered. And we've had so many of those on Clubhouse. Like, you know, Rian's trivia show and like the, you know, like Lupa singing opera and all sorts of news shows and trivia shows and church sermons and oh my gosh, like there are so many different types of rooms that just blow my mind. PTR game shows, like you know, musical performances. So I'm really excited about things that we hadn't even anticipated. Some of the ones that I've thought about that I would really love to see. I'm still really excited about. So I'm really excited about daily programming and like my morning habit now. I wake up and I open my phone and I turn on news, and I listen to Andrew and people all over the world talk about what's going on that day, and that's amazing. Like it helps me know what's happening while I'm getting ready for work, and I feel like I'm getting to know all these people, which is so cool. And when I think about formats that work in the real world, like if you think about talk radio, if you think about TV, if you think about all sorts of other stuff that we do, reading habits, like it's really nice for me to have things that I know I can come back to every day. So I'm really excited about morning news programming. I'm really excited about late night talk shows. Like I love listening to Good Time, like pretty much every night at 10 o'clock Pacific. So really excited about daily stuff in general. I'm really excited about news as a vertical in general. Like it's such an easy thing to create on a relative basis. Like if you think about late night talk shows on television, they tell the news via jokes, and then they have one or two guests who come on and talk about new projects that they're working on. And there's all of this raw material that you can go to create content for your show. So like on News, it's like Andrew and Catherine and Min can just sort of like open up their laptop and look at the headlines. And you know, if you have domain expertise, you're passionate about a topic, you're knowledgeable about something, you can just talk, right? I mean, it's so easy to create content when you're dealing with news, and it provides this like very useful service for people because everyone wants to stay up to date on what's going on in the world each day. So I'm really excited about that. Really excited about sports. Like sports is such a great fit for this medium, right? Not just audio, but live audio. Like we forget the foundation of terrestrial radio is the fact that you can do live or near live shows, and they can be interactive, right? The most popular formats for decades on terrestrial radio are live sports, breaking news, listener call-in shows, morning and evening commute shows where you talk about the events of the day. And I love, love, love podcasts, but you forget that you can't really do this stuff on a podcast because it's asynchronous, right? It's not interactive. There's just delay between when you publish and when people can listen to it. So for sports, you think about pregame and in-game and post-game, like that's that's so perfect for live. People are in the moment. They want to like talk trash. They want to talk about what's going to happen in the next play. They want to do the post-game press conference, and so and it's such a popular thing globally that brings people together. I'm really, really excited about more sports content. I'm really excited about politics. Like I think that it's another area where people are passionate, obviously deeply tied to news. I had some great conversations with political candidates and elected officials recently, and it's crazy to me that they have no outlet to talk with their constituents, to talk with the people. Like that, if you want to go and talk with your elected official, you have to drive to a building. You have to know about the town hall meeting that's happening, like not a Clubhouse town hall, but a real life town hall. And you have to like drive to a building, and maybe you don't have a babysitter. Maybe you don't have time. Maybe you don't have the resources to do that. Maybe you have to work. So people are shut out of this discussion. And I'd really, really, really love to find a way for people to have more regular lines of communication with their elected officials. And I'd love for people to have more ways to talk about politics day to day. Beauty has been another vertical that is that has really amazed us. There's like you look at like what Mo's just doing and other people in that community. There's incredible content about beauty, and I love that it is in a format that almost seems antithetical to what you might like naively think beauty is about, right? Like the fact that there are no visuals and people can really connect authentically. I'm really excited about performances, like people just coming on and playing music each day, like Lullaby Club and like people playing guitar, people singing. I love the idea of a musician just comes on and on a Thursday evening and then maybe every evening and just sings for 15 minutes. Like that's incredible. I'm really excited about support groups. We've seen like Pace and other clubs hosting like incredible conversations about support. And I think audio is a great medium for that, right? Like it's hard to, if you think about like how therapy works and how real world support groups work, it's hard. It's like sensitive stuff you're talking about. You can't, it's hard to do it over Zoom. It's hard to drive somewhere, especially in today's times. But if you can provide people with access to other people who are going through similar things that they're going through, that's just wonderful. That's a wonderful, wonderful thing. We had our first earnings call happen on Clubhouse last week. So I'm excited about like shareholder meetings, company all hands, like that's pretty cool. Product reviews. I mean, there's so there are a lot of different verticals, a lot of different formats that I'm hugely excited about, and cross-cultural stuff. I think that's really interesting. Things that are in pop culture. So I guess lots and lots of different stuff. But the common thread here is that these are things that are really well suited to audio. They're really well suited to live and interactive. They're daily things. I think like daily stuff is really, really exciting. And there's probably so much more out there that we're going to see come through and think, oh my gosh, I didn't even consider that. That is incredible. Yes. So I'm just excited to be surprised by what people come up with. So yeah, just those are some of the things that I'm particularly excited about, but much more to come. All right, so we are 7 minutes past time. Let me recap. I'm sorry we didn't get to everyone's questions. We just had a pretty packed town hall right now, and I'm really grateful for all the questions. So if you have questions that we didn't get to, please go to support.joinclubhouse.com, and hopefully we have answers to most of them. And if we don't get to your questions, there are links for where to go to reach out to the team, and we'll work really hard to get back to you as fast as we can. We're working to massively scale up our support team so that we can make sure we're always getting back to you really, really quickly with whatever questions that you have. I want to just say thanks to Steph for the great highlights today. I'm excited for Aja, the new app icon. So excited to welcome Maya to the team. Clubhouse turns 1 Wednesday, reminder. So hopefully we'll have some fun events and see some people there. The big thing I want to just remind you of is the Creator First Accelerator program. If you go to creatorfirst.joinclubhouse.com, apparently we have 130 applications already, and you need to submit like an audio sample and other stuff too. So that's pretty impressive. Please go creatorfirst.joinclubhouse.com and let us know how we can help you. We want to help make your shows amazing. We want to help you learn how to promote them. We want to help you get paid as a creator. And we're so excited to work with you on that. And finally, the Clubhouse World Tour. I'm really excited for that. I'm practicing my Italian accent for tomorrow, which I'm sure is going to be terrible, but it's going to be really fun. And I'm so excited to talk with people all around the world who are on Clubhouse. We've got these incredible communities that are forming in India and in Nigeria and Brazil and Germany and Hong Kong and Thailand and just dozens and dozens and dozens of other countries, probably hundreds of other countries. So excited to see what we learn tomorrow and to continue the world tour over the coming weeks. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Like I always say this, but it always blows my mind that people are willing to spend a bit of their weekends with us. Can't believe it's been almost a year. It's just been the most exciting thing we've all ever been a part of, and we're just grateful every single day that we get to spend our time working on it. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Sunday, and like it's just I just love looking around the room at all the amazing people. Like I always say, this Clubhouse, it's nothing without the people. It's everything with the people. And thank you from the bottoms of our hearts for being here, and hope to see many of you over the coming week. New User Orientation, Wednesday, 6 o'clock Pacific time. Happy Mother's Day if you're in England right now. And and if I don't see any of you before, I hope to see you at Townhall next Sunday, 9 a.m. Pacific. Thank you so much.